Welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that doesn't do their laundry, but takes the quarters and goes down to their local arcade. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad, and today we're talking about an animated film that just came out, Wreck-It Ralph.
And on Thursday, we're going to give our first impressions of a giant new video game title, Assassin's Creed 3.
As always, you can check us out on Twitter at Epic Geek Out. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get all our new episodes.
Yeah, and you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout. Check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com. And around the time these episodes are coming out, we're actually down in New Orleans. So,
Yay.
hey, if you happen to be watching down in New Orleans, you know, send us a little comment.
Tweet at us.
Tweet at us. Do one of those things.
See ya.
But let's get into our reaction of Wreck-It Ralph. So Wreck-It Ralph is the story of this guy named Ralph, who is deemed a bad guy, doesn't want to be a bad guy any longer. Basically, he is in this kind of Rampage-esque video game where he plays the one who destroys the video game, and then there's Felix, who is Fix-It Felix, whose job is to, well, fix it, and gets all the accolades for doing so. It stars the voices of John C. Reilly, not Danny McBride, the dude from 30 Rock that I just said it wrong. Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, and Sarah Silverman, and is this retro gaming movie that, you know, it
references.
Has so many great cameos throughout it, and it really is him trying to get this medal so he would be appreciated in his home game, and you know, shenanigans happen after that. So Chad, what did you think of the movie?
I really like this movie. We were looking forward to it pretty heavily because the trailers, they cater to our crowd.
Yeah, besides you know, the fact that this is a kids movie,
right?
We're the second demographic.
Right.
The people who play these video games know the references, can pick up on the other humor, and so I mean,
there's so many cameos of characters and funny little jokes, and even jokes that extend beyond video games. I thought the candy world was really cool because there's like the devil dogs. Like I thought that was just hilarious.
So
funny. Or the Mentos.
I mean, there's some really
there's so many funny references just to, you know, clever things that really haven't been in movies before. Those kind of jokes. So I appreciated that. The movie has a lot of heart to it. It's definitely has a message that, in these times, is a really strong message to kids. I think it's about being yourself, and that sounds corny, but it does hit some chords, and they did it well. And movies like this, they can either be hit or miss. It could just be those video game references. I feel like it could have been that easily, but it also had a story. It was an adventure. The characters were really interesting. Voice acting really great. So I think it was great. I think if you are a geek like us, this is the perfect movie to go on as a date, because your significant other you go on it with is going to be like, oh, I can't believe this is such a good movie. I can't believe that you brought me to this movie. But you're going to love it for the video game stuff. You clearly don't agree about it.
I don't know.
I think it is a perfect date movie. It's also a great movie to take your kids to because they're going to laugh. They're going to, you know, get a good message.
That's what I would say. It's a perfect movie to take to.
But I think it's
that you're going to appreciate the things that some of the kids don't.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about it is that it definitely hits a lot of different demographics. And that's surprising because, you know, it could have gone one way or the other, but it does a good job at kind of hitting every chord, and I think that's awesome. The animation was really good. I liked how like the people in the Fix-It Felix game were like jumbly, like 8-bit.
And how they moved and how they danced. And also let me say that this is a Disney movie, but it's not a Disney Pixar movie.
Right.
So it's from Disney Animation Studios. And I feel like they kind of have a chip on their shoulder like, hey, you know, let's prove that, you know, Pixar isn't the only division in Disney that can make a standalone title that speaks, because Pixar speaks to cross generations and a huge amount of people.
It really did feel like a Pixar movie to me. I mean, despite the fact that it had other characters from other IPs in it, I feel like it did feel like
Which Toy Story kind of does. Mr. Potato Head and other classic toys.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the video game version of Toy Story, to be honest, and that was cool. I mean, it had a message, but it was also had those cool references. So I really liked it a lot. I also just want to say really quickly, the intro, they did like the short before it, which I thought was amazing. It was awesome. It was very good. Beautiful.
Beautiful animation. It was
everything was
unlike any other animation I've ever seen before. It just had this
It was unique.
graininess kind of to it that I really appreciated
and it had a great score to it. Like the music was just made it. You know, I almost teared up during that. And that was
yeah,
the
it was
beginning. So
very good.
I was really impressed all around. But we were looking forward to it. But I think it definitely hit my expectations.
Yeah. So what this movie succeeds in is the fact that they bring in these cameos and these people, and you're like, oh, that's Bowser. That's you know, all these different people. But what it succeeds in is it makes you fall in love and care for the four main characters. The the voice acting from the 4 stars that I really mentioned, which there are other people in it, but it's really a movie about these 4 people.
It didn't jam those references in your face. Which
exactly.
It
was really an original movie about this, about Wreck-It Ralph, about Fix-a-Felix, and the other 2. It really was so original. All the cameos, all the different references just complemented it. The 3 games that they visited were all new creations for this movie.
Right.
So there was no, they didn't go into Pac-Man.
Well, they did.
Kind of a little bit in the beginning, but it's not like they spent time of the movie in this world. So that gave the creators of this movie a chance to really create their own world. And it took staples out of video games, like Sugar Rush, which is,
a Mario Kart.
kind of Mario Kart, but like very cool. Like the different things, like instead of the red shells, it's a sugar tracker or what, I forget what exactly it was, or the ice cream cone it shot. So cool. They took everything and made it unique and original to themselves. I don't even want to say it, but like just some of the in jokes were so funny. What kind of made their version of lava in this movie made me laugh for like 3 minutes. I mean, I thought that was so creative and stuff kids aren't going to pick up on, but I'm like, oh my god, I've seen that YouTube video before. I mean, if I'm sorry to be vague, but I don't want to give anything away from this movie.
Hands down, they made a duty joke. I mean, that gets me every
It was a running duty joke, which was funny.
Awesome.
Great message. It really shows what kids' movies can be and how they can translate to adults. I also saw Hotel Transylvania, and not to knock that movie, but it just doesn't reach that next level, which Pixar movies normally do. DreamWorks has before with Shrek, but this movie just reached that next level that it's like, wow, I care for these characters. Some of the shots in the movie were so creative, where you're looking in at the video game as if you're standing in front of it. Then the camera pans through the glass around what is the hotel or apartment building that Ralph would wreck, and then you see the girl playing the video game through the glass on the outside.
That shot reminded me of Fez, because it was like the 2D world.
Yeah, and then how it switched. I didn't even think of that, but very true. Or how like you could see the rest of the arcade from it. How they knew they were getting shut down because the sign was put on it. All these things.
The surge protector.
The surge protector, Game Central was awesome. It was very creative. The bad guy, I thought, was very cool, and how they did it. He wasn't in it for a major part of the movie, but it was a twist. I kind of saw it coming, but it was so cool when it happened. So I definitely say go out and see this movie, and I think it's going to reach the generation above us too, because there's those Pac-Man references in Game Central. There's just Pong. Just playing in the middle. No part of the story, but just Pong. And they make Space Invaders, and all these references are so great. And
they even make the joke at the end, like he's like, "Oh, everyone loves our game now," and calling it retro. I guess that means it's old but cool. And I'm like, it so is. And like, it was kind of trying to introduce the arcade cabinets to the younger generation, because it is today now. It takes place in modern day. So, I mean, that's just cool in and of itself, too.
Yeah, I say it's I think all around, I didn't get the laughs per minute that I actually expected. I was laughing throughout.
Probably more than a lot of people, because I don't think a lot of people picked up on the jokes.
Agreed. And also, this did not reach the level that Toy Story 3 did for me.
Right.
I do think it's an unfair comparison, because I think that's a near perfect movie, in all honesty. But it surpassed expectations, and it really was. I can't wait to let's just say I can't wait to rewatch it. I just got done. We just got out of the theater. I can't wait to watch it again, to pick up on all those little Easter eggs that are throughout it that I didn't catch in the first viewing because I was too busy laughing. So
for sure,
it's a must go see. So today for our thanks, we're gonna give a little themed thanks and say we're going to give our thanks to our favorite stand-up old school arcade game.
Retro throwback. Well, I have a lot of favorite ones, but the one that I'm going to pick is kind of obscure.
Well, you can name a few and then pick the
well, I have
pick
two
the
that I
best.
posted on our Facebook page. So the first one for me, I was lucky enough, my great aunt actually she had a pool in her house, which is cool. We always go over 4th of July. But her basement was full of cabinet
She had a pool
arcades.
in her house?
Well, no, at her house. But in her basement,
sweet.
cabinet arcade games.
That's
she had at least 15. Okay, this is
15.
awesome. Yeah. Like tons, and we would all go play, and you didn't even need quarters, so it was like the best thing ever.
That's pretty awesome.
So one of the games that I played there
feels a little cheaty, but
it's
good.
But one of my favorite games that she had there was the Flash Gordon pinball game. I don't know, there's something about it just sticks in my mind as something.
Just thought of Ted, the movie.
Yeah. It just sticks in my mind as a game that I always play. Like it's very nostalgic for me, thinking of childhood. But if I had to pick one that like I played at the arcade, it would definitely be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
In time or
no, the original.
Okay,
original
I mean they're
one.
great.
Yeah, I mean great game, great characters all around. I love it. So those are my two standouts.
Yeah, I played the hell out of that on whatever systems I owned back then. I mean, that was knocking the foot soldiers at the screen.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, I mean, I spent a tremendous amount of time in arcades, and I think it's something that the younger generation, they lose because, you're playing these games with, like, from Mortal Kombat, being able to know the right buttons to do the finishing move, and things like that, are epic. They're awesome. That is our show right there. That's why we do this show. You can still find them down the boardwalks, but I can't go to the local mall, and that's been shut down for years, which leaves a hole in my heart. My favorite of all time has to be the old school X-Men stand-up arcade game where there's like 64 people can play, or however, I think it was 8, but however many people.
One of our episodes prior to this, a little bit ago, we actually played it on Xbox,
which did
More
not
disappointing.
hold up anything, and that was kind of what I was saying is we had unlimited lives. It was just a hack and slash at that point, like literally just a hack and slash, because there was no finite amount of time that you had to live, and there was no point. You could just replay, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed The Simpsons, everything. Everything in the arcade. There were old racing games. Nostalgic to a T. So
Hydro Thunder
was good. Dave & Buster's was a place I grew up going to. I got a gold card as a kid, and had one sent to me with my name on it. Was always trying to get enough tickets for the jukebox. Never got that, which is good because I don't have room for a jukebox. But it's fantastic.
You can never get enough tickets for that.
You can't.
So that's what we're thankful for
got
today.
a lava lamp.
Oh, well, that's always good.
Pretty cool.
But we'll be back on Thursday with a brand new episode for you. We're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed #3. So make sure you check back for that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.